Tabitha, thank you for joining us today. As I know you've had lots of communication with Alfredo, and I've been checking out all of the things that you've been doing on social media and helping the community. And I just, from the bottom of my heart, want to say thank you because, you're a beacon to many. Like you're this strength with real talk while being compassionate. It's like all of these it's things that people need right now from leadership. And I think you embody all of those things. And I just want to say thank you because what you give is so much. And I know it's because you want to, I know all of those things, but it doesn't mean I don't want to take just a minute and celebrate you and thank you for all that you're doing. And
Thank you.
yeah.
It means a lot.
Gonna say
It's
that.
we're going through it, right? And our industry is really going through it. And all I know to do is to show up.
Yeah.
That's all I can really feel like I'm contributing at the moment is just to keep showing up and supporting people and answering questions and maybe having a laugh and sharing some age and dinosaurness, as I call myself.
No, no, not at all. And but I hear you because earlier Alfredo said, "Well, you said this earlier," and I was going to say that's because I'm older than you. Like that's why you think some of the things that I say are interesting or wise because I'm older. It's like when your mom used to say, blah
I
blah
just
blah.
told you guys I was 171 years old. I'm older
Well,
than
Yeah,
see,
well, I've got to be 480 then, so shh, calm it
yeah, he
down.
should stop saying those things, right? So, I don't even know where to start because I feel like I could
Yeah.
keep you on here all day long, Tabitha. But I think, I guess I sort of talked about what you've been doing with the community. But is there? I know that you also you take all of this in, and you also sort of again go to social media to be able to guide the masses. So, and we are at this very interesting place. I talk about the stages of change, which I know you know. And, back in March, we were talking about them as it relates to everyone getting ready for this lockdown, if you will. And now we're in this place where varying degrees of releasing the lockdown, and there's a lot of emotion around that as well. And it's another moment for stages of change. And so, what would you want to share?
Mhm.
What's your observations and what would you want to share with the community right now that's out there in various stages of change?
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that keep coming up with everyone that I talk to, but in different ways. So everyone is scared, right? We're all scared because it's new and it's different, and we haven't been through this before, and we don't have the muscle memory because it's new. So we haven't built up that muscle memory to know quite what this is or how to handle it. So everyone is doing the best they can, right? And
Yeah.
it's really important
Yes.
that people realize that and realize that there is no playbook for this. We don't really know. We're all working on our gut instinct and our intuition and guidance from the people that need to guide us, but there's no hard and fast rule for this. The other thing that keeps coming up is worth. And that's been really interesting because it comes up in different ways for different people that I speak to. So some of the worth comes up that I don't feel worthy because I've been told I'm non-essential. So
Mm,
I don't feel like I'm valuable. So that is a big one that many of us are feeling. The other one that comes up is, will people still think I'm worth it? Will they still value me when I go back and open my doors? Will clients want to come to me and have the money to spend with me, or think that they still want to spend time in my chair? Am I valuable enough in their lives for them to keep coming and seeing me?
mm,
And then the third worth that came up, which has been really interesting, is people that aren't okay because no one's okay with this, but maybe they're better than some others. Maybe they have had some more savings to dip into. Maybe they work in a smaller kind of business. Their setup is different, so they don't have staff to worry about. They don't have some of the other challenges, and they're using this time as an expansion of their knowledge and their education and enjoying their children and their families. And still working in their business, or, with doing branding and things, but they're not maybe as financially strapped to some other people. And that comes up like, how am I okay that my friend isn't okay? How am I worth it when someone else isn't worth it? So it's been a lot to unpack, honestly, with speaking to hairdressers. I try and communicate personally with about 10, 15. Some days I don't sleep very well lately, so 20 hairdressers a day, and we have private conversations. And it really is this worth and value that keeps coming up all the time.
Yeah. And so it's so interesting. So I'm trying, I think you know me, and if you don't know me, I cry all the time. So, and usually on these Alfredo afterwards, we'll be like, "Oh, I saw you going down," and because it breaks my heart to think anybody would think because they're deemed as a non-essential worker that it impacts their self-confidence, right? But it's like that just hit me really, really hard, because of course it's not that they're not a sin. It's so 86% of women would rather see their and trust their hairdresser more than they'd trust an actual therapist, right? So
We're
you're
so essential.
yeah,
We're so essential. We're just not essential now because it's
yeah,
not quite safe.
Right.
Right.
yeah,
So, and that's what I do with the studies that I have been doing. And when I work with clients and I coach them, we reframe it. So we kind of unpack all the things that you're
great,
feeling, because they're all really valid and should be looked at, right? So that you can feel them. They shouldn't be put away. You need to feel
mm,
your way through them. But then
yeah,
we unpack them and just look at a different way to look at it. So we are so essential. Our clients are asking us for house calls and to open our salon, and we can't wait to see you. I can't wait to get my regrowth done. I miss you so much. But we've been told we're non-essential, and that has started to weigh on people's perception of themselves. And
Yeah.
that has been really challenging for me, because we need to own our worth and do it in a much broader aspect. Yes, we're hairdressers and we celebrate this industry and it's amazing, and we're artists and creatives and we have so much to bring to society, but we're also individuals that are artistic, and we can be artistic without it having to be hair, and we're creatives and we can be creative even if we can't work on a client right now. And we're strong men and women, and we can find strength in different ways even if we can't spread that with our clients. And we need to kind of reframe that and work on it in a different way, because it has been, look, really just upsetting to talk to people and to for them to say to me, I don't feel like I'm valuable. You're
yeah,
so valuable. I know that, right? I know
yeah,
you're valuable. You guys know that they're
Yeah.
valuable. And we know how incredibly valuable this industry is and how much each and every person in it has to contribute.
yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry.
You got her this time, but rightfully so. Even I feel, I mean, it's how do we
Yeah,
reframe that to our industry and let them know that you are so essential and you're so valuable that it's such a broad thing to say you're non-essential, right? It's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the word, right? It's just that
yes,
word.
It is the word,
yeah.
which
It's like you say, Sherry, the setup, like it's all in
all
the
the
setup.
setup.
I say that a lot
Yeah,
on here with you because it's something that stuck with me that you've said to me in many different scenarios. And, how do we reset that up? Because it is a poor setup. If you think about, saying that phrase or telling somebody that, it can affect your self-esteem,
yeah,
But
you know?
here's the other side that I see, and Philip said it before, where when there's darkness, then you have to have light,
Yes, yes.
right? And that's true in life as
In
well.
life, yes.
And I feel like there is so much great that will come from all of this, and it's really awful to go through it, and it's really horrible for everyone, and so many people have gone through so much loss, but there's so much good the other side of it. As a community and an industry, we've really come together in ways that I've never seen before. We also have clients reaching out. I've had so many messages on my social media from clients telling me how much they love their hairdresser, how much they miss their hairdresser, what a contribution to their life that their, beauty professional makes. I've had clients reach out and tell me that they budget for their appointment anyway, so they're sending money to their stylist, and they're keeping that going to make sure that they're okay. They're checking in with them. So there's so many great things coming out of this, and I believe will continue. Even the way we do business, I think we'll start to do business in a smarter way that is a little bit easier, that we will have a little bit more flexibility, that we will do things a little bit differently, and they're all good things. And I think the other side of it, even though some people may be struggling with feeling their worth and their value now, the other side of it, they will see how valuable they are, and they will see their worth, and we will look at the ways that we can continue this industry connection that we've made with each other, but also the connection with our clients, and keep expanding on that. And I think there's a lot of really interesting and great business opportunities there as well.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Gordon Miller from Hairbrained, he shared this quote with me. We were on a call, and I think it came from Winston Churchill. And it's a bit when you first hear it, but never let a good crisis go to waste. And I sort of think, in this same vein is like we all are in, we're calling it a global crisis, a global pandemic. And so it is our opportunity as individuals to not let it go to waste. Like, who are we going to become when this is over, right?
Yep.
So what kind of advice would you give to everyone out there who is in crisis to help them, sort of guide and direct them to not let this crisis go to waste, if you will?
I think one of the things that's really important is to keep structure. And it's really easy to not have any structure now. So when you don't have that routine and you don't have that structure, it's really easy just to say, I'm going to sit on the sofa and watch Netflix all day and eat bonbons.
Popcorn.
I don't know. Yeah, there you go. I couldn't get the word out. I was like, what am I eating? Carrot sticks. And then the problem is that you start to get into that routine, and we do have muscle memory, right? Just like our body has muscle memory from going to the gym, our brain has muscle memory as well. And we truly believe what we feed our mind and the conversations we have with each other, right? And the conversations we have with ourselves, because all of us, I don't care who you are and you're not crazy, we all talk to ourselves. We all talk to ourselves all the time, right?
I thought I was the only
Constantly.
one.
So when you're saying these negative things, or when what's the point of getting up today? I've got nothing to do anyway. What does it matter? I've already eaten, 3 bags of popcorn. I'll have another one. What does it matter if I do this? No one's going to see me, right? When we do that, it becomes this habit. And then that becomes a problem to break. So having structure is really important, having positive and looking for the good. There is good in everything. Even when it's a global pandemic and there's a lot of bad things going on, there's so much good out there as well. Look for that good. Show gratitude. It's one of the quickest ways to change a negative thought into a positive one, is when you show gratitude, when you celebrate that. Even if it's a really small thing, I'm grateful for that cup of tea I just had. It was delicious, right? You don't need to be disingenuous about it, but it's really important. And keep connecting. I keep telling business owners that I talk to, keep talking to your clients, keep talking to your team, set up the game plan of what it's going to look like when we come out of this. Get excited about it, because we're going to see our clients again. We're going to see our friends and our staff again. That's really exciting. Put all this newfound education into practice. Get excited about upskilling yourself and taking those new skills back into the salon. Start thinking about that and dreaming about it and putting that plan together. And it gives you this positive focus to put your energy on. So the negative is always a powerful magnet, right? It's always a powerful attractor to sit there. You just need to keep feeding the good things in to disrupt that negative brain pattern. And then you start to focus on the positive.
Yeah, that's great, Tabitha. And
Yeah,
I
so
know,
good.
well, I don't know that you know, but I am a certified pastoral counselor and I was studying to be a minister, which
Didn't
I
know
don't
that.
think, I know Alfredo's going to be like, what? But,
I
and,
knew.
you know, it's there's a lot of great things that I've learned and I'm super grateful for, resources, sort of habits that I can create to help myself through these times. And yet I still have a coach that I connect with regularly. And even though we know these things, right, we have these good habits that we learned at some point, and then somewhere along the way life got busy and then we forget them. But I was on a session with him on Friday and he was just reminding me, I do gratitude every morning, which we've talked about on these, either this or on lives, like everybody getting up and the first thing you do is you do a gratitude exercise. But then he was saying, okay, and do you celebrate your wins at the end of every day? And I was like, no. No. Because when's the last win you celebrated? I'm like, a personal win? And he's like, okay, here we go. Let's remind you. And I think it's exactly what you're saying, right? Is that people, if we could have the gratitude, and then at the end of the day, reminding ourselves to say, what were the wins that I had today?
Hmm.
Because how long do we spend thinking about the thing that we didn't do well? Versus how long do we spend thinking about the thing that we did do well and that we should celebrate? And we've got to sort of feed our subconscious with the positive things.
100%. I do gratitude in the morning and I do what went well or what I'm grateful for at the end of the day. That's my first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and what I give to my clients to do. And the win at the end of the day, it goes back to worth, right? Because we don't often celebrate ourselves and the things we do. We negate it and go, well, that's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's what's expected of me.
Mm.
We do all of those things to negate it. But sometimes at the end of the day, if you, especially now, you may not have a lot of big things going on, but you can still, a win is still getting up and being productive. A
Mm-hmm.
win is still making yourself go for that walk or eating healthy or writing in your gratitude journal in the morning is still a win, right? You're still
Mm-hmm.
celebrating yourself and the fact that you showed up and you took care of yourself. And that's something that is really important for all of us to do. And I think, especially now, and notoriously, we know this as hairdressers, we're kind of crappy with taking care of ourselves sometimes, right? It's always about our clients. So it's normally clients first and then our team, right? If we have a team, and then it will be our family and our friends and everyone else. And somewhere down the bottom, we're like, oh, yeah, I haven't gone to the bathroom all day. Oh, I haven't eaten for a couple of days. Oh, I haven't done this. And then we think of ourselves. So it's really important to think of ourselves anyway, because for me, if you don't think of yourself and the goals you have and what you want, you can't get the best out of yourself. And that means you're not getting the best out of anyone else either.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I, I love
Alfredo?
that. I have a question. Well, first of all, I did get my journal. Sherry told me to get a journal over the weekend, so I did get my journal because
Love
she was like
that.
we had a very similar conversation of this on Friday night. Kind of had like a recap of our week, and but my question for you is because it got me thinking. Because negative, it's easy sometimes for us when we get on that negative train, right? To just sit in it and just take it and keep going, and those habits when we're talking to other hairstylists, you're talking to so many people every day. Um, and when you encounter someone who's in that space, which is, we're all, like you said, this is a hard time. And a lot of people, it's easy to get caught up in it. I know I've been caught up in it and gotten out of it. What are your tips on how to deal with someone by not negating their feelings, like letting them own where they're at, but also not like trying to turn it around, I guess, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah, of
to,
course.
yeah.
So, empathy is we all have it. It's a hard thing to employ sometimes, right?
Yeah.
To actually put it out there. It's hard. And a lot of people think that empathy is feeling sorry for someone. It's not. It's just standing in their shoes for a minute and looking at their map and going, okay, yeah, I can totally understand why you're angry, mad, sad, frustrated, whatever it is that you're feeling. And that's what it is. It's listening to someone with their negativity And then reframing it. So asking the question, but has anything good happened? Have you enjoyed anything? Have you found any positive thing come from this? And it's not negating what they've said, it's just changing their mindset. We have, and it is crazy, and we all know this, we don't always put it into action. We can change our thoughts in a second, and we have control over that.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to keep the negativity going, as you said, Alfredo, because it's just there. And then you can keep, right? We've got this big old box of negative, and we can keep pulling things out and throwing them out until the cows come home. And sometimes it's hard to disrupt that. But all it takes is one thought, one positive action, but isn't it beautiful outside today? Right? Just to kind of change that mindset and help someone else to change that mindset as well, because sometimes it's the questions you ask, right? The quality of your questions determines the quality of your life.
Yeah.
So if you ask someone a really quality question, then it can help change their mindset as well to look at things a little bit differently.
Nice. Excellent.
Thank you.
You were talking about goals, like being able to say, well, I got that goal of eating healthy today, or getting out of bed, or getting out of my pajamas, whatever it is, putting on shoes, whatever it may be. But if you were to say, like right now, because I think people have all of this time, if they haven't already come out of their lockdown and are back to salons, how often can you just talk about goal setting for a second? How do you recommend for people to do goal setting? Like, what framework do you provide them?
So I normally break it down personal, because there are different goals. So we all have personal goals that we'd like to work on, normally, losing weight, getting fit, taking care of ourselves in a different way. We have professional goals that we want to work on. So getting, doing a photo shoot, putting yourself in Naha, something like that. And then often we have financial goals that don't necessarily fit in those personal work goals. So I get people to break it down and get really specific. The more clarity you have, the easier it is to get to that end result. Doesn't matter what it is. So you need to get really clear. The other thing that I always ask people is, why do you want that? Why is always such a great question, because often people will say, oh, well, I want to make this amount of money. And when you say to them, okay, but how is your life going to change when that happens? What is going to happen for you? They start to talk about other people. Oh, my kids can do this. My husband doesn't have to work as hard. My staff can do this. So it's not personal. They're doing it for someone else. And when you do it for someone else, although it's really noble and really amazing and really great, it doesn't mean that you're doing it for you and you're not going to have the same motivation. When you're really doing it for you, and you can picture how your life is going to look different, right? I'm saving because I want to go to India. And you focus on it, you study about India, you get everything all ready. You're so motivated, and you've made the connection from A to Z and all the steps that you need to take in between, so you can help to keep yourself on track. So I think setting goals is great, but we've all done it, right? At like New Year's resolution, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But there's never that connection from the goal to what we're actually changing and why we want to change it, that we follow through those steps. And celebrate those little things, right? Nothing changes overnight except a pandemic, right? That's the only thing that turns the lights off. So nothing changes overnight. So give yourself those little celebrations. You know what? Today, I didn't eat my Cadbury's Caramello. It's a good day, right? And give yourself those little wins as you get through it, instead of beating yourself with a stick going, oh my God, I had a square of chocolate, right? Celebrate. Today I only had one square instead of the whole block. Kudos to me. Good job.
Can you see me at night? How did you know that?
Because it's my new love affair, but we've just broken up. So.
Oh, really? Chocolate, Cadbury?
You know what? I don't eat dairy, and I have given up chocolate, and it's been a really long time since I have indulged. And I've really been indulging. We've had like this mega affair, Cadbury's Caramello and I, straight out of the freezer and nice and cold and creamy. We've now broken up and we've parted our separate ways. We still adore each other. We're just not spending any time together anymore.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, I love it. I did order some cookies and then was very glad that I ate them all and now don't have any more in my house. I'm like, don't reorder the cookies.
What we have in our fridge right now is very, very important, I think.
I think so too.
If it's there, I'm going to go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Alfredo, for as trim and fit as he looks, he eats a lot every meeting. I'm like, are you eating again? What's going on? So
I eat like small portions throughout the day. It's good for the
yes.
Good for
Tabatha, I have a question about so if you don't know, Tabatha does this amazing thing about personalities, and it's about, your colors, and each color has these, personalities, I would say these very amazing positive attributes, as well as like how maybe you perform or act under stress, etc. And let me ask, do you have a video somewhere that if somebody has not been able to attend one of your programs that they could go see that?
I don't, but I am trying to work on it. But I'm, as Alfredo knows, and you do too, Sherry, I'm not very good with technology sometimes. So I'm really trying to break it down into the colors. I think it would be really helpful. It's part of, I got my master's degree last year. It's part of my master's degree I did. It's from a psychologist. It really, for me, I love teaching that class, and it's such a great way for communication, for us to communicate with other people in our salon and our clients and each other and ourselves, and find out our strengths and limitations. And I was really excited last week. Sorry, everyone. We have a team page for Matrix, for all our Matrix peeps, which I love.
Yeah.
And I did a class on there last week. For all the colors of going through each color of the personality during adversity and what that looks like, and the different things it brings up for everyone to try and navigate through all of these times.
Okay, we don't have enough time for you to do it. How could we do that?
Next time. Next time I'll come back and we'll do a little abridged color.
How long would we need for that?
We could do it in 45 minutes, and then everyone could send me some social media questions, and I could just answer them a little bit more in depth. We could just do like a top line of the different personalities and how they communicate with each other, and the strengths and the limitations. And the limitations aren't bad, you guys. It's all of us. We all have things that are our stumbling blocks and our roadblocks, but when we're aware of them and when we know what they are, it just makes it much easier to kind of keep the river flowing around the blockages and keep everything moving in the right direction.
I would love it if we did it. It's a little bit of a blind
spot.
I learned so much from that. And I still use it. I still use what I had learned from hearing you talk about it in day-to-day life when you meet people, because it's like in all situations, not only salon, it's like life, period.
Yeah, it really is. And we all communicate all the time, right?
Yeah.
So we're always communicating with everyone, and especially with our clients. And when we have a lot of team members in a salon, all those different, and I know business owners are like, oh, that one never listens to me, or that one, never follows the rules and won't do anything that I ask them to do. Why? And it's often just the approach that we take, especially when you hear the colors. You're like, oh, you're a red and that person's a yellow. That's why. You need to change that question a little bit.
Well, I'm not looking at the calendar in front of me, but I think that maybe even if a week from Thursday, I don't know who's on for our live. Oh, you do a 1:00 live though, so that wouldn't work. All right, we'll figure it out.
I can move my 1:00 live. My coffee with coffee, they're fine. We will jump on early and tell everyone to come over here. Let me know.
Okay, we'll let you know because I'd love to make that happen. Just I think it'd be very good, like for everyone to understand who they are, be able
Yeah.
to understand
Yeah.
if we could give a quick way to identify our clients, you know, so
100%.
that
Or
we can help them.
We
or
can
Okay.
do
even
like the
on,
top 3 or 4 questions of what color are you, or how really quick ways to identify where someone falls with the
Great.
color, and then just quick ways of being able to communicate with that person and kind of get over those stumbling blocks that we all have with certain
Yeah.
personality types.
we'll figure it
That
out, or even on here, so it's like then it lives on YouTube so they can see it.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, we'll go
We'll
back
figure
and
it out.
revisit
We'll figure it out.
our calendar and figure that out. If there was just, you know, one or two other things you'd want to share, communicate with those that are watching today and those that come back and visit this video, what would that be?
So I'm going to talk like a dinosaur now, and someone that's been in the industry since I was 14 years old. So it's 30 a lot years, and has gone through, obviously none of us have gone through this, but I've gone through owning a business in September 11th. I've gone through recession. I've gone through, the area that I live in New Jersey and where my salon was, having so many people affected by the recession because most of them were stockbrokers, but also September 11th. I had an entire staff walk out of my salon once. Everyone came to me on Saturday and resigned and walked out, and I had no one to open the doors on Monday. So, and we all have those stories, right? None of us, we all do. None of us are an island. We all have different stories and adversity and challenges and things that we've been through. And for me, and I know this to be true for all of you that are watching this, I know that you can get through this. I know you can. And I know it feels really challenging at some times, and I know it feels like you don't know if you can get through, and I know it feels like there is just no way that everything is going to work out. But I promise you, it may not work out the way you thought it would, but something will work out. You will be okay. You are supported by an amazing industry. Your clients do miss you. Things are going to change. That doesn't mean they're going to be bad. They're just going to change, right? And it's keeping that open mind and realizing that things will not be 100% the way they were before, and that's okay. That can be a good thing. There can be a lot of light that comes from that. There can be a lot of opportunity that comes from that, and there can be a lot of good that comes from that. And to keep having conversations, keep communicating with your team, communicate with your clients, communicate with each other, right? Reach out to someone that you admire in the industry, or a friend, or reach out to me. I'm there all the time, right? But reach out to someone and realize that this is not your fault. That's something that a lot of people have said to me as well, is I feel like, I'm losing clients, or I feel like my business is on hold and somehow I screwed up. You didn't. This is an unforeseen force that we didn't know was going to happen, and there really was no way um, for us to plan. What we do now is we learn from this.
Mm-hmm.
We learn from the challenges. We learn from the things that have happened. When we move forward, we come back stronger.
Yes.
We save in a different way. We set
Yes.
up our futures in a different way. We
Yeah.
may restructure and reformalize our business in a different way. We learn much more about our numbers, right? And what we need to do to safeguard ourselves. And they're good things, they're positive things, but you haven't done anything wrong. And stay strong and know that we will get through it. And I truly, truly believe that, as trite as it might sound.
No, it doesn't. My mom says I've shared this with Alfredo that you can get through anything so long as you know it's coming to an end. And we don't necessarily know when this is going to end, but I do think that we know we've got to stay strong with the fact that we are going to get through it, and to use the time, as we said earlier, to sort of think about those things. To your point, what are we going to do better? when we come out of this? How are we going to use this as an opportunity to grow and be even stronger? There's so many amazing comments on here. Tabitha, there, people need Tabitha therapy. Yes. JC Penney Salons needs you. There's lots of, yes, self goals. Somebody has a lot of apples in the fridge. That's good. It's good for you to have. That's good for you.
That's really good.
And then people can't wait to hear about people can't wait to hear about the colors. We do have one question here, which is, what mistakes do you think salon owners are making today? And what is your best advice for success?
So
Not a small question.
If we take
like
the first part, what mistakes are salon owners making today is some salon owners aren't communicating enough with anyone. So they're not communicating enough with their team, if they
Yes.
have a team, and they're not communicating enough with their clients to talk about what it's going to look like when they come out of this. So everyone should be putting their game plan in place, especially if they haven't opened yet. What is a reopening going to look like? What am I going to need? Have I ordered my product because there could be a delay on it? Am I going to do a video? Yes, you are. To show my clients what it's going to look like when they come into the salon and the procedures we're going to do, so they feel comfortable.
Nice.
That will set you up for success, but also your clients. So they're the things that we need to be looking at as business owners. Let's get this plan in place. Let's communicate it with our staff, communicate it with our clients, and make sure we have everything we need, all the products ordered, all the PPE we need, and also the structure that we need, the timing. We may need to rework our service menus. We may need to rework our timing slots. And there's a lot of different advice out there. I've got a few different ideas as well that we can talk about at another point of how to make that happen. Look, success, that's a big one. First, for me, it comes down to passion. I can't be successful in anything. It's like when we were talking about the goals, right? When Sherry asked me about goals, I can't make a goal happen if I'm not really passionate about it and I'm not emotionally connected to it. I can't be successful in my business, my life, my salon, my relationship, my friendship, or anything else if I'm not emotionally invested and passionate about it. And that passion gives you drive, and it gives you edge, and it gives you different ways to look at questions, and it gives you a different quality of a question, and it gives you the motivation, even if you hit a little bit of a roadblock, to keep going and climb over that fence and keep it moving. And for me, success is really because I'm passionate about what I do, and because I always want to learn and share and help other people and support other people and grow personally and help others grow. That will always keep me moving forward, because I don't even think I've hit success yet, right? I don't even know what that is. If you think you've hit it, then that, to me, that means you're going to stop and you're going to sit back and kind of rest on something. So it's an endless, consistent wheel, which is great because it's a path. It's not a destination. It's a journey that keeps going all the time when you're truly passionate about something.
And I love what you said about, because I keep thinking in my mind, I have a lot of conversations that I keep asking everybody to do their Facebook consultations, right? Or virtual consultations. And if you think about, if I were thinking about clients that would have come in at the beginning, and then as I'm starting to get ready to reopen my salon, essentially I would have seen them twice, right? And I think to myself, okay, well, the first appointment should have been still happened, right? Virtually, whereby I help walk them through whatever it is that they need to get through in order to have their virtual meetings that they're having where they feel like they need to look good, or for their partner or whatever. And then the next one is to prepare. I do think that we could be busier. As stylists, we could have kept all of our appointments the way that they were and had them virtually. And, I've talked with my sister, who's a hairdresser, about that, and a few others who are doing that. And, you know, you layer on top of that, if you are a salon owner or even if you're independent, all the things that you need to do to build your business. And, you know, maybe that first week of binging the Netflix was a good one with some whatever you were eating, but you know, now is time to make sure that those connections, exactly what you said, are still happening. You
And
know,
it's working on your business, even if you
yeah,
can't work in your business. And
yeah,
Hmm.
virtual consultations, especially now, we need to keep doing them even more so because that will help to cut down on
Trying.
contact when
yep,
we're in the salon. So if we want to keep social
Absolutely.
distancing, which could be required, right? We know that we need to be close to our clients. That's fine. We're going to do it in a safe way with all the licensed regulations that we've been taught, and we're going to implement them. But if we can cut down on that and have a virtual consultation, right? So Sherry and I can have a consultation virtually, talk about her hair, all the things that she needs, everything that she wants. The only thing that's missing is my hands in her hair, but
mhm,
we've already communicated. So when she comes in, we just right into hair and then
mhm,
going on to the service instead of having that 20,
Yes.
25-minute connection with each other in person. And it's a great way to be able to keep yourself on track when you go back to the salon for those that are worried about not being able to service enough clients, right, to be able to make it financially feasible for them, especially if we can't double book. So it's a great way to keep that money income coming in, but also a great way so that you don't feel overwhelmed with having to have all of those consultations. If you have them virtually, you
yep,
can also get out of the way, and I mean that in a kind way, some of that personal connection
yes,
of what happened to you while this was over. Let me hear your stuff because I want to hear it. I care
yeah,
about you. And then we can just go to work when they're in the salon.
yeah,
It's so interesting that you just said that because I don't know why it made me think of this, but it's so true. Like I've been very fortunate. I haven't had very many surgeries in my life, but I had a minor knee, like a torn muscle surgery late last year. And the doctor called me a week before, told me everything that was going to happen, asked me if I had any questions, told me what to expect, told me what they were going to prescribe me to afterwards and what I needed to do in a week after. Um, and then you come in and you just go right into it. You know what I mean? They prep you and you go in. So it was just when I was thinking about that, having, we need to do it virtually. He did it over the phone. I think as hairstylists, you do need to see, like on whatever it is that you're
Yeah,
using
I
to
agree.
virtually communicate. But it's just a new way of working, like you said.
It's also that comfort for clients.
Yeah.
So the unknown is scary, right? The
Hmm.
new is scary because we're human. None of us like change very much. So, and some of us are really resistant to it. So when we can set a client up for success, it also sets up us in a really great way so we're comfortable as well. But when a client knows you have to stand outside and I will text you when it's time to come in, right?
yeah,
This is, we're going to automate more. We're going
Yeah.
to not take cash anymore. We're going to ask you to wear a mask. We're going to ask you to wash your hands. When they see it, right? So that's why I think a video is great of what the process is going to
Yes.
look
mhm,
like when
good
you come
idea.
into your business. So when they see it, when they're told it, and then you can post it in the salon or in the window or however you want to do it as well and reinforce that message. It gives a client a minute to process it. So when they come in, they're not like, oh my God, why are you wearing a mask? Are you not
Yeah,
feeling well today? Oh my God, this is so weird, right?
yeah,
They know the setup and they're going to be much more open and comfortable. And you've already had this great virtual consultation with
Yeah.
them and
yeah.
they're excited to see you.
Yep, exactly. It's all in the setup. See, Alfredo, it comes back.
A
Yeah, it is.
hundred
It comes
percent.
back to that. Somebody says you're
It's
very
so true.
talented and gorgeous, which I
Oh,
concur with
Agree.
thank you.
100%. And then yeah, lots of Tabitha's my hero. Agree, agree. And then Sierra has been binging on Tabitha's salon takeover all week. So
Good girl.
Thank you, Bravo. It's been on at really obscure times, but also thank you, Serena. It's on like all wackadoo times now. Good for all us insomniacs.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, thank you so much, Tabitha, for all of your wisdom, for all of your light and your sparkles that you bring to the table every single day, for doing what you do every day with the individuals as well as on social media, and in advance for coming back and teaching all of us what color we are, how to recognize it in somebody else, how to help our clients and our friends through this time by recognizing their color, meaning not their color on their head, but the color of personality that they are, and being such a positive inspiration in the industry. We really, really love you a lot and appreciate you so much.
Oh, thank you, Sherry, and thank you, Alfredo.
Thank you
This was
so
so
much,
much fun, and
Tabitha.
thank you, everyone, for watching.
Yay! Hearts
Loved
to
having you.
Tabitha.